At the KBC Network's annual awards party, amidst a roar of applause, A-list superstar Cassidy Reed was invited onto the stage. She even did an impromptu performance. Cassidy used her phone to cast her background music to the main screen. As a video editor, I'd seen my fair share of celebrities. Honestly, I was bored. I pulled out my phone and started messaging the girl I've been talking to online. Babe, your skin is so fair, and your legs are so pale and straight. They look amazing. How about I buy you that nurse's outfit next? The next second, my messages flashed up on a massive screen at the gala. Everyone froze. Cassidy, however, a slight blush coloring her cheeks, calmly replied in her mic, Babe, I'm working right now. Why get home tonight, whatever you want. I worked as a video editor for KBC Network. My main gig was cutting together a slow-burn lifestyle reality show the network produced. And Cassidy Reed was a permanent fixture on that show, one of the main cast members I had to edit. Honestly, Cassidy was the biggest headache in my editing bay. Her agent was a nightmare, insisting on scrutinizing every single frame of Cassidy's footage. It just piled on extra work for no good reason. So yeah, I wasn't exactly their biggest fan. Plus, I saw enough of Cassidy Reed in the edit suite. Watching her perform now, I felt nothing. Though, I had to admit, Cassidy was genuinely stunning, even for an A-lister. She had that cool, fair complexion that looked even more flawless without makeup. Her face was delicately small, the kind that could handle any HD camera zooming right in. Add to that her tall, willowy figure and those long legs. Plus, she was undeniably talented. She had great public appeal, too. Amidst the cheering, Cassidy had been roped into an unplanned performance, but since nothing was prepared, she'd offered to cast the background music from her own phone. Sitting in the audience, I found the whole thing pretty dull. Wow, Cassidy Reed is actually going to perform for us. Cassidy, our goddess, you're so beautiful. The colleague next to me was a total Cassidy Reed stan. He was screaming the loudest. I, on the other hand, was terminally bored and decided to text my online flame. Babe, your skin is so fair and your legs are so pale and straight. They look amazing. How about I buy you that nurse's outfit next? The messages instantly appeared on the screen. The next second, everyone was dumbstruck, eyes wide, faces frozen in disbelief. Well, what did I just see? Does our goddess Cassidy have a boyfriend? Their texts are pretty risque. I heard a rumor Cassidy Reed was secretly dating some A-list actor. Looks like it's true. An A-list actor and an A-list actress. They're a perfect match. Cassidy's face flushed a deeper red, a flicker of embarrassment in her eyes. Her long fingers typed rapidly on her phone before she, with surprising composure, replied to my message via the projected screen. Babe, I'm working right now. Why get home tonight? Whatever you want. My colleague let out a heartbroken wail. My heart is broken. Goddess Cassidy actually has a boyfriend. He shook my arm, probably looking for some commiseration. Meanwhile, inside my head, it felt like a Category 5 hurricane and a 9.0 earthquake had just hit simultaneously. I was reeling, completely and utterly reeling. My online girlfriend was actually A-list superstar Cassidy Reed. A giant question mark ballooned in my mind. None of this felt real. Over my roommate's continued wails of despair, I snapped back to reality. My gaze landed on Cassidy again. That's when I noticed the necklace she was wearing. It looked suspiciously like the limited edition piece I'd bought from that indie designer. It was a pretty niche jewelry boutique. Their stuff was really original, distinctive. You wouldn't see everyone else wearing it. And it wasn't crazy expensive, but not cheap either. Good for a thoughtful gift. I'd only sent that necklace to my online girlfriend a couple of days ago, and now Cassidy Reed was wearing it. There was no doubt about it. Cassidy Reed was, in all likelihood, my online girlfriend. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. Staring at Cassidy on stage, all elegance, and with that flawless face, my heart started to pound. I thought back to how Cassidy, my online Cassidy, usually chatted with me. She'd send me pics of her long legs and dark stockings, or tease me with different outfits. She had this innocent face, but her body was incredible, especially in certain specific clothes. It was ridiculously alluring. Lost in thought, I shook my head slightly. I listened to Cassidy finish her song. The rest of the gala was a blur. When it was over, my boss sent out a message on the company Slack channel regarding the messages that popped up on screen with Cassidy Reed today. Absolute confidentiality. No leaks. Got it. Roger that. I typed back. Got it. Honestly, we didn't even need the warning. Everyone working at the network knew. Celebrity business stays in-house. We all signed NDAs when we were hired. Leaking stuff meant hefty fines. Man, this is huge. If this got out, it'd be trending worldwide by morning. Whispers buzzed around me. I knew they were just talking, blowing off steam. The gala had barely ended when messages from Cassidy started pinging on my phone. Sweetie, sorry, was a bit swamped. Now I'm free. So about that nurse's outfit tonight? I'll check if the package arrived. If it did, I'll model it for you tonight. Are you still there? Working late again? I told my online Cassidy that my job was crazy, that I often worked late. It also suddenly dawned on me why, in the nearly year we'd been talking online, Cassidy had never sent me a clear photo of her face. She'd said she wanted to keep an air of mystery. Now it made sense. As a top-tier celebrity, how could she risk sending a face pic? One wrong move, and it would be a massive gossip scandal. Sweetie, I didn't mean to ignore you today. The company had a last-minute thing they needed me for. I'm so sorry. How about I make it up to you tonight? Watching Cassidy's messages pop up one after another in the chat window, I still couldn't quite believe it. My cute, clingy, sexy online girlfriend was really A-list superstar Cassidy Reed. Just as I was spacing out, a voice startled me. Ethan, sorry to bother you, but there's a cut we need you to look at. Cassidy's agent, Jenna, was walking towards me. Cassidy said a line I think is a bit off, and there's one scene that feels problematic. Could you possibly stay late and take a look? Cassidy's here too. I mumbled a no. I wanted to refuse, but I didn't really have a good reason. Cassidy's agent, Jenna, offered a polite, if somewhat strained, smile. Normally, that smile would have irked me, but right now I was genuinely curious. Okay, sure, I could take a look, but you'll have to wait a minute. My laptop's in the car, I need to grab it. I usually kept my work laptop with me. In this line of work, you always had to be ready for last-minute stuff. Great, thank you, Jenna said. As I hurried to my car, another message from Cassidy popped up. Sweetie, please talk to me. Why aren't you texting back? Did something happen? Sad face, I glanced at the stream of messages. My stomach churned with a mixture of anxiety and confusion. I honestly didn't know how to reply, so I just pretended I hadn't seen them. I quickly grabbed my work laptop and headed back into the hotel where the gala had been held. Jenna had already arranged for a conference room. I pushed open the door and walked in. There was Cassidy, dressed in a simple white dress. As an editor, I'd only ever seen her on screen. But this close, I realized just how breathtakingly beautiful Cassidy was. It was the kind of beauty that literally stole your breath away. No ordinary influencer could even compare. Her skin wasn't just fair. It was flawless, almost luminous. I swallowed hard, suddenly incredibly nervous. My heart hammered against my ribs, and my palms started to sweat. I don't even know how I managed to walk over to where Cassidy was sitting. Her agent's voice cut in. Cassidy, Ethan's here. Perfect, the three of us can go over the latest rough cut of the episode and figure out what needs adjusting, all in one go. A small smile touched Cassidy's lips. Okay, Jenna. Cassidy smiled at me. Ethan, thank you so much for this. No problem. No problem at all. I waved a hand dismissively. I opened my laptop and pulled up the reality show cut. My fingers were practically trembling. Cassidy's pleasant voice sounded. Ethan, is the AC too high in here? Are you cold? No. Being this close to Cassidy Reed, her beauty was seriously making my face flush and my heart race. And, please don't call me Mr. Miller or anything. Just Ethan is fine. My name is Ethan Miller. Ethan, Cassidy repeated. The moment I said my full name, I regretted it. I'd actually told my online Cassidy my real first name, but I'd spelled it Ethan with an online dating, you know? You don't give out all your real info. Yeah, that's right. Ethan. E-T-H-E-N. I added the spelling, feeling incredibly self-conscious, like I was over-explaining. But still, my name wasn't anything special. It's a pretty common name. Cassidy gave me a long look, then just said, oh, and didn't press it. I quickly pulled up the episode. Following Cassidy and her agent's feedback, I started making adjustments. The whole thing took about 2 or 3 hours. The gala had already ended late. With these revisions, it was already 1 in the morning. Once everything was done and they were satisfied, I stood up. If there's nothing else, I should get going. Ethan, Mr. Miller. Ethan, it's so late, Cassidy said. Let us give you a ride. Where do you live? No need. I can get back on my own, I said. I blurted that out and practically ran out of there with my laptop, not even waiting for her reply. I rushed outside and kept running for a bit, ending up in an empty section of the parking lot. At this hour, the streets were deserted. No people, hardly any cars. A gust of cold night air hit me, making me shiver. I pulled out my phone. Sure enough, Cassidy had sent me a ton more messages. Sweetie, why aren't you texting me back? Followed by a cute, pleading cat gif. Babe, I miss you. Text me back, please. Pleading face. Suddenly, the next second, my phone started ringing, a voice call from her. I hesitated for a moment, then pressed answer. Sweetie, you finally answered. I thought you were ghosting me for good. Sweetie, why aren't you saying anything? Oh, sorry, I was just finishing up some work. Are you done now? Pretty much. Just then, I heard her voice in my ear again. Sweetie, I think I see someone I know. As she said that, a car pulled up right beside me. The window rolled down, and there was Cassidy Reed's stunning face looking right at me. Ethan, she said, her voice laced with surprise. Simultaneously, her voice continued in my ear from the still active call. Oh, sweetie. Funny thing. I met an editor at the network today. His name's almost exactly like yours, Ethan. Spelled differently, though. Don't you think that's a... I slammed the end call button on my phone. A flicker of confusion crossed Cassidy's face in the car. But she quickly recovered and said, You'll never get a ride share out here this late. Let me give you a lift home. No, it's fine. It's no problem, really. Hop in. If I park here too long, I'll get a ticket. And you wouldn't want that, would you? She flashed a charming smile. I mumbled an okay. I reached for the back door, then realized it was a sleek sports car. Only 2 seats. Awkwardly, I got into the passenger seat. The car smelled faintly of her perfume. Subtle and really nice. It's hard to get a ride around here at this hour. Where do you live? I'll take you. I blurted out a random address in a neighborhood a few miles from mine. I wasn't about to give her my real address. We'd exchanged gifts before, using a mail service, so she had an address for Ethan, but not my actual apartment. Oh, perfect. That's on my way, she said with a light laugh. She started the engine, and the car glided forward. Thanks a lot, Ms. Reed, I said, trying to sound formal. You don't have to call me Ms. Reed. Call me Cassidy, she said, her tone warm and friendly. You know, it's funny, she continued. I was just on the phone when I saw you. Were you on a call, too? Yeah, I said, a little too quickly. My mind raced. Was she piecing things together? And get this, we both hung up at the exact same second, huh? Isn't that even more of a coincidence? She must have seen me put my phone away. Just then, her eyes flicked to the necklace I was wearing. The limited edition one from the indie designer. We each had one. Your necklace? She asked. I quickly tucked it under my shirt. Oh, a friend gave it to me. What friend? Cassidy asked. Her curiosity piqued. Just a regular friend, I said. Cassidy looked like she wanted to say more. I cut her off. Maybe you should focus on driving. You know, they say don't text and drive. Probably applies to chatting, too. Hearing that, Cassidy suddenly burst out laughing. You're actually pretty funny. Thanks, I managed, my face heating up. We drove in silence for a bit. Then Cassidy said, You mind if I make a quick call? My insides were a chaotic mess. My brain felt like scrambled eggs. My palms were slick with cold sweat. No, go ahead, I said, trying to sound casual. Cassidy nodded. The next second, she was making a call through her car's hands-free system. The moment she hit dial, my phone rang. Instantly, I turned to stone. Her eyes darted towards me. Beads of sweat popped out on my forehead. My mind screamed, crap, crap, crap. It's over. She's going to know. Cassidy's voice, calm but questioning, broke the silence. Ethan, is that your phone? Trying to sound casual, I said, No, that's just my alarm. A perfectly sculpted eyebrow rose. An alarm? You're off work. Why send alarm? It's for this game I play. I improvised frantically. There's a limited time event tonight. Didn't want to miss it. Cassidy's lips curved into a knowing smile. That game wouldn't happen to be Valiant Heroes, would it? Yeah, I blurted, then immediately backtracked as I saw a strange glint in her eye. I mean, no, but it's, similar to Valiant Heroes. I almost forgot. Cassidy played Valiant Heroes too, and she always made me carry her. She was one of those terrible but loves to play types. Is that so? Cassidy looked at me, a hint of skepticism in her voice. I just nodded, unable to meet her gaze. I've been looking for a new game to play, she said, her eyes hopeful. Maybe you can recommend the one you're playing? I stared at her, then quickly named a different, much less popular game. Just then, thankfully, we were nearing the fake address I'd given her. I pointed to an apartment building up ahead. Ms. Reed, my place is just there. The car pulled up to the curb. I practically leaped out. Ms. Reed, thanks for the ride tonight. Goodbye. Cassidy frowned slightly, her beautiful brows knitting together. She asked, her voice soft, Is there anything else you wanted to say to me? Huh? Say what? My nerves instantly jangled again. Cassidy bit her lip. Never mind. I'm going. After her car disappeared down the street, I crossed over to my actual apartment complex on the other side. Back in my apartment, I saw Cassidy had not only called, but also sent a barrage of messages. Babe, why didn't you pick up? Sat but relieved face. Babe, are you breaking up with me? Loudly crying face, loudly crying face. Babe, don't ignore me. Okay? I'll send you pics when I get home, promise. Face blowing kiss. Looking at Cassidy's messages and picturing her angelic, beautiful face, the handhold of my phone felt numb. If Cassidy found out her online boyfriend was me, she'd probably have me blacklisted from the entire industry. As much as I liked her, I couldn't risk my career, could I? My original plan was to just ignore her messages. Eventually, she'd stop trying, right? With that thought, I logged into Valiant Heroes and queued up for a match with my buddies. Halfway through the game, another message from Cassidy popped up. So you have time to squad up with other people, but no time to text me back. Unamused face. I frowned but still didn't reply. Let her misunderstand. It would save me the trouble of finding an excuse to break up with her anyway. Babe, are you mad at me? Pleading face. Cassidy then sent me several pictures of her legs. Long, pale, and smooth, looking incredible in a pair of shorts. It completely killed my motivation to play. I ended up going AFK and got totally flamed by my teammates. Even though the thought of never seeing those legs again pained me, I steeled my resolve. I had to break up with her. I'm not mad. I typed back. I just met someone else while gaming today. She's really sweet, great voice, and honestly, more fun than you. I'm sorry. Maybe we should just call it quits. The second I hit send, a wave of regret washed over me. Was that too harsh? Hurting her like that. But I was hurting too. If I'd known it was her from the start, I never would have gotten involved. Forget being blacklisted. Her fans alone would crucify me. Babe, you promised you'd never leave me, remember? Broken heart, Cassidy's reply came almost instantly. Afraid I'd cave, I quickly blocked her. Blocked her number 2. Better to rip the Band-Aid off quickly. And then, having done all that, I just burst into tears. My roommate, Tom, must have heard me. He pushed open my door. Ethan, what's wrong, man? Why are you crying? Tom, I just broke up with someone. I practically threw myself at him, snot and tears probably getting all over his shirt. Dude, watch the waterworks, Tom said, looking disgusted but patting my back awkwardly. It's just a breakup, man. What's there to cry about? Plenty of fish in the sea. The next one will be even better. I cried even louder. Ugh, Tom, you don't understand how amazing she was. Huh? She broke up with you? Tom asked, peering at me. I shook my head. No, I broke up with her. Then what the hell are you crying for? Tom shoved me away. If she was so great, why'd you break up with her? Because she's too good, man. I don't deserve her. I choked out, wiping my eyes. Tom, do you even get that feeling? Tom stared at me, completely baffled. Then his eyes lit up. Hey, back at the Gala today. The messages that popped up for Cassidy? The profile pic looked exactly like yours. Was her online guy you? No way. I denied it instantly. Even if I won the lottery 5 times over, I wouldn't have a shot with Cassidy Reed. This couldn't get out to anyone in the industry. It'd be trending on Twitter in hours. Cassidy's career was really taking off right now. I didn't want her to get dragged down by bad press because of me. Yeah, you're right, Tom conceded. Look, man, don't cry. I'll set you up with someone awesome, okay? Tom comforted me for a while longer. Once I calmed down, he left. I spent a miserable night. The next morning, though, it was back to the usual grind. Work. When I got to the office, however, I heard that production on Cassidy's show had been paused. Why? I asked a coworker, surprised. My coworker sighed. Her agent said she apparently slipped in the shower last night. Got a pretty nasty cut on her leg. She's in the hospital. What? Is she okay? I blurted out, a wave of worry washing over me, though I tried to keep my expression neutral. Sounds pretty serious. My coworker leaned in and whispered, I heard a rumor that Cassidy just went through a breakup. Was drinking a bit. That's why she fell. I mean, what kind of idiot would dump Cassidy Reed? She's gorgeous, Rich. Guy must be blind. She fell. Because of me. A bitter laugh escaped me, but I just had to agree. Totally blind. All day at work, I couldn't stop thinking about Cassidy. I kept making mistakes editing. Luckily, Tom was there to catch them. Ethan, Tom said later, if you're this worked up, just go see her. You're totally distracted. If the boss sees you like this, you can kiss this month's bonus goodbye. I sighed under my breath. I know. After work, I rushed straight to the hospital where Cassidy was. When I got to her room, I saw there were even some fans visiting, and the room was overflowing with flowers and fruit baskets. I'd come in such a hurry, I hadn't brought anything. Ethan, what are you doing here? Cassidy's agent, Jenna, had appeared silently behind me. I tried to look casual. I heard Cassidy was hurt, so I came to see how she's doing. Well, go on in, Jenna said with a slight smirk, pushing the door open. Cassidy, Ethan's here to see you. Damn it. No escape now. I had no choice but to walk in, bracing myself. Cassidy, you get some rest, okay? We'll head out now. The fans quickly said their goodbyes and left. As luck would have it, Jenna's phone rang, and she stepped out to take the call. Now it was just the two of us in the room. I instinctively glanced at her leg. Her slender, pale calf was wrapped in gauze. Cassidy, are you okay? I asked, looking at her pale face, a pang of guilt hitting me. If I hadn't broken up with her last night, would she still have fallen? Cassidy managed a faint smile. It hurt a lot at first, but it's much better now. I rushed over. I didn't bring anything. I stammer, my hands fidgeting. Is there anything you want? I can go get it. Cassidy shook her head. No, it's fine. The fans brought tons of food. Could you? Maybe peel a pear for me? Sure. I looked at the fruit basket on her bedside table. I remember Cassidy liked pears. My online Cassidy, that is, so I instinctively reached for one. But that unconscious action seemed to make Cassidy suspicious. How did you know I like pears? She asked, her eyes searching mine. Not even my agent knows that. My hand paused mid-peel. I didn't dare look at her. Pears are usually pretty sweet. Figured you might like one. After peeling it, I cut it into slices and held the plate out to her. Could you? Feed it to me? Cassidy asked, her long lashes fluttering, her big, watery eyes looking innocent and pitiful. Looking at her then, so vulnerable, I couldn't bring myself to say no. Okay. I fed her the pear, slice by slice. She finished the whole thing quickly. Well, seems like food tastes better when Ethan feeds it to you. Jenna had reappeared, startling me. I jumped up, feeling like I'd been caught red-handed. No. This morning, Cassidy wouldn't eat a bite. Her appetite seems to have improved considerably with you here, Jenna observed, a knowing look in her eyes. So, how about this? For the next couple of weeks, Ethan, could I trouble you to bring Cassidy her meals? Isn't that a bit much? I protested weakly. If I come every day, and the paparazzi see me, they'll have a field day with stories about me and Cassidy. Don't worry, I'll handle things with the network, Jenna said smoothly. Before I could agree or disagree, Jenna had decided. So, for the next 2 weeks, I basically became Cassidy's personal meal delivery service. And you could visibly see her, filling out a bit. For celebrities, maintaining their figure is incredibly strict. I couldn't help but worry. Cassidy, maybe we should watch the portion sizes a little. I ventured one day. Cassidy pouted, looking a little upset. Are you saying I'm getting fat? No, not at all. I said quickly. I'm just worried that when you go back to work, you'll have to starve yourself again. A lot of celebrities practically starve themselves to lose weight quickly for a role or appearance. I didn't want Cassidy to go through that, being hungry all the time. Oh, is that it? A flicker of surprise, then pleasure, crossed Cassidy's face. She looked at me intently. I told you could just call me by my name. It's better if I stick to Ms. Reed or Cassidy in private. Maybe we don't want anyone else getting the wrong idea, I said, trying desperately to hide my panic. Even though we were seeing each other every day, I was constantly on edge, terrified she'd figure out my secret identity. Are you that scared of people misunderstanding our relationship? Cassidy asked, her gaze unwavering and profound. I didn't know how to answer. The silence stretched, becoming awkward. I'm a little thirsty, Cassidy said, breaking the tension. I immediately stood up. I'll get you some water. But the pitcher was empty. I went out to refill it. When I came back, my phone was in Cassidy's hand. I'd left it on the table, completely forgetting. A wave of sheer panic, too quick to hide, washed over my face. I put down the water pitcher and reached for my phone. Care to explain, Cassidy said, holding up my phone, her voice dangerously calm. Well, you got the photo on your lock screen? I was speechless. My mind went blank. The photo on my lock screen was a picture Cassidy had sent me, of her in pajamas, looking soft and beautiful. I thought it was a great picture, so I'd set it as my wallpaper. Even after the breakup, I hadn't been able to bring myself to change it. You're Ethan, aren't you? Cassidy's voice was quiet, but her eyes were filling with tears. Why didn't you just admit it? Why did you have to break up with me? Seeing her cry made my own chest ache. Were you afraid that if I found out who you really were, I'd break up with you? So you did it first? She pressed on, tears now trickling down her cheeks. Or were you worried about how being with me would affect my career? Or maybe you were scared of the pressure from the public, from my fans? Or maybe it's like you said, you found someone else. But if you really found someone else, why would you come here every day to bring me food, to take care of me? Cassidy had laid out every possible reason, every fear I'd harbored. I had no defense, no words. Cassidy, I finally managed, my voice hoarse. We're from different worlds. It would never work out. If your agent found out for real, she'd definitely be against it. A small, sad smile touched Cassidy's lips. If Jenna didn't already know about us, why do you think she'd suggest you bring me food? My heart skipped a beat. So, you suspected who I was from the very beginning. What do you think? She said, a sigh escaping her. I was hoping that after these past 2 weeks, you'd tell me yourself. But I guess I still had to be the one to say it. It had struck me as odd at the time, given Cassidy's current A-list status, How could her agent possibly approve of her dating someone like me, an ordinary video editor? Later, I found out the truth. Cassidy had been willing to risk her chance at becoming an even bigger superstar. For me, Jenna had built Cassidy's career from the ground up. She wasn't about to let her throw it all away without a fight. In the end, seeing how much it meant to Cassidy, Jenna had reluctantly agreed, but with one non-negotiable condition. The relationship had to stay completely private. Cassidy, I looked down, unable to meet her gaze. Don't you think I'm not good enough for you? Cassidy gently took my hand, her touch sending a familiar warmth through me. Her voice was as soft and tender as it always was when we chatted online. I told you before, Ethan, I don't care who you are or what you do. I'd still like you. Besides, she squeezed my hand. We've been doing this for over a year. Can you really just let all of that go? Of course I couldn't. This past year, we talked almost every single night. For me, she was my rock, my emotional support, the bright spot in my often grueling days. And Cassidy had said I was the one who helped her through her darkest times, back when she was still struggling. The truth was, a year ago, Cassidy Reed was still relatively unknown in the entertainment world. It was only about 6 months ago that she blew up because of that one-hit reality show, the show I edited, the show that brought us, unknowingly, face to face. 2 weeks later, Cassidy was discharged from the hospital. As for us, Jenna pretty much turned a blind eye, though I could feel her watching us like a hawk whenever we were at the network. Not long after, the inevitable happened. The paparazzi snapped us out together late one night, grabbing some takeout from a little 24-hour diner. In less than a day, the photos were the top trending story everywhere. When Tom, my roommate, saw the news, he cornered me immediately. Ethan, level with me. Are you and Cassidy Reed actually together? Nah, man. I try to play it cool. That guy in the photos just look a lot like me. Crazy resemblance, right? Tom sighed dramatically. Ethan. We've known each other for how many years? Lived together. You can't even trust me with this? It's really not me. I insisted, though my resolve was crumbling. This time, Tom actually pretended to dab at his eyes. We've been roommates for ages. I've seen every inch of you practically. I could pick you out of a lineup blindfolded. Sniff. I guess I'm just not worthy of your A-list secrets. He was laying it on thick. I couldn't help but crack a smile. All right, it's me. I knew it. Tom's fake tears vanished instantly, replaced by a wide, gossipy grin. Spill it, man. How in the world did you manage to snag Cassidy Reed? Online dating, I said, trying to sound nonchalant. Tom's jaw dropped. Holy crap, dude, you hit the jackpot. Seriously, makes me want to try online dating. I don't even need an A-lister. I'd settle for, like, Scarlett Johansson back in her prime. What? You trying to be a homewrecker now? I joked, knowing Scarlett Johansson was married. Tom just grinned. If it was ScarJo, I wouldn't mind the competition. Work continued, and now, being around Cassidy felt different, charged. During our lunch break one day, Cassidy suddenly found me, cornering me in the usually empty break room. Why were you ignoring me earlier? She asked, looping her arms around my neck, her voice a playful pout. She was so close I could smell the light, floral scent of her perfume. A wave of emotion I could barely control washed over me, making my heart race. I stammered. There were too many people around earlier. During the mid-shoot break, Cassidy had come over to talk to me, her eyes sparkling with an obvious, uncontainable joy when she looked at me. I'd been so flustered, I'd barely managed a coherent sentence before making an excuse to leave. Are you that scared of people finding out about us? Cassidy tilted her head, her lips still in that adorable pout. I gently tapped the tip of her nose with my finger. I'm just worried about it affecting your reputation, your image. Be good. I leaned a little closer, my voice dropping. After work, though, we can do whatever you want. Really? Cassidy's eyes lit up, and her hand suddenly snaked under my t-shirt. The warmth of her palm slid over my abs, sending shivers down my spine. My breath hitched. Cassidy, aren't you worried I might lose control right here? Then don't control it, she whispered, her lips brushing against my ear. Cassidy pressed a light, butterfly kiss to my cheek, then my jawline. I could feel my face burning, my entire body tingling. I wrapped my arms around Cassidy's waist, pulling her closer, about to finally kiss her properly. Just then, the distinct sound of footsteps approached the break room door, shattering the intimate moment. I quickly, reluctantly, let go of her, trying to steady my breathing and look casual. The next second, the door swung open, and Jenna, Cassidy's agent, walked in. Seeing our flustered expressions and the way we jumped apart, she looked horrified and quickly shut the door behind her. Oh, for crying out loud, you two, Jenna exclaimed, her voice a strained whisper. This is a workplace. Can't you be a little more Discreet? My blood pressure can't take this. Cassidy just chuckled, completely unfazed. We're just talking, Jenna. Do you think I'm blind? Jenna's face was pale, with a mixture of exasperation and panic. She gestured wildly between us. Look at your faces. And you. She pointed a stern finger at me. Ethan, out. Go. Before someone else walks in. I practically bolted from the break room. Luckily, the hallway was empty. No one else saw. Back at my workstation, Tom gave me a sly, knowing look. Ethan, where'd you disappear to looking all flushed? Restroom. I mumbled, avoiding his gaze. Tom grinned. Right. Well, while you were in the restroom, a bunch of coworkers were gossiping about you and Cassidy. Something about intense vibes. I bet it won't be long before everyone at the network knows about you too. Ahem. No way, I said, clearing my throat. Is it that obvious? Tom raised an eyebrow. The way you two look at each other? Dude, a blind person could see the sparks. It's like a romantic comedy montage waiting to happen. Cassidy and I continued to date, mostly in secret, though it was becoming an open secret around the KBC offices. She often talked about wanting to go public with our relationship, to just be able to hold my hand without looking over her shoulder. But I was still hesitant. You've worked so hard for so long, Cass, I'd tell her. If you go public with me now, with all the scrutiny, wouldn't all those years of effort, all your dreams, be at risk? But I always feel like I'm making you sacrifice too much, Ethan, she'd reply, her eyes full of concern as she tightly gripped my hand. Keeping us a secret, hiding. It's not fair to you. I'd smile, try to reassure her. I never feel like that. Being with you, Cassidy, is already the luckiest thing that's ever happened to me. Seriously, our not so underground anymore relationship continued like that for 3 years. From time to time, paparazzi would inevitably snap photos of us together, a shadowy figure getting in her car late at night, two people sharing a coffee at a secluded cafe. And because of those blurry photos and rampant speculation, I got absolutely savaged by some of Cassidy's more zealous fans online. The comment sections were brutal. Every time Cassidy saw those hateful comments directed at me, it really upset her. She'd get quiet and withdrawn. If I weren't famous, she said one evening, her voice thick with emotion, you wouldn't have to endure all this verbal abuse. None of this would be happening. Don't be silly, I said, pulling her close. I don't care about that anonymous noise. To say I didn't care at all would be a lie. Some of it stung. But as long as I could be with Cassidy, what did a few mean comments from strangers on the internet really matter? Then came the incident that changed everything. One weekend, the paparazzi, who were apparently more tenacious than ever, caught a video of me taking Cassidy to my hometown to meet my parents. It was surprisingly clear footage. That was it for Cassidy. She didn't even discuss it with me. She just went ahead and posted a statement on all her social media, officially announcing our relationship. She was straightforward, honest, and even apologized to her fans if the news disappointed them, but made it clear this was her life and her choice. Even with a heartfelt apology, she lost hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. The internet exploded. Cassidy, I asked her later that night, holding her as she scrolled through the initial wave of reactions. Aren't you scared? About your career, everything? Cassidy shook her head, a gentle, determined smile on her face. Scared of what, Ethan? Honestly, I want to do this for ages. As long as I can be with you, openly and without hiding, I don't need to be an A-lister. This is more important. At first, a vocal segment of her fan base was vehemently against us. The consensus was clear. I wasn't good enough for her. I was dragging her down. But over time, as they saw Cassidy was genuinely happy, truly radiant in a way they hadn't seen before, some fans started to come around. Supportive comments began to outnumber the hateful ones. As long as Cassidy's happy, that's all that matters, became a recurring sentiment. After that, whenever we went out, whether it was for a walk in a park or a quiet dinner, we didn't have to dodge the paparazzi anymore. The first time we walked down a busy street holding hands in broad daylight, without looking over our shoulders, was a revelation. I squeezed her hand, a huge grin spreading across my face. Cassidy, I said, feeling an overwhelming sense of joy. I feel like the happiest, luckiest guy in the entire world. Cassidy's smile was as bright as sunshine, her eyes sparkling. Well then, Ethan Miller, she said, squeezing my hand back, from now on, you're not allowed to let go.